Last week, we spent the night on the Great Bahama Bank and cruised through storms. This week, we catch a glimpse of the life of a drug smuggler.
Or was this one?
So this is our new fuel tank for our dinghy. This will fit in the front of our
There's
dinghy.
a book on it.
Yeah. And so it'll go up front in the little compartment. And this is our old one. It didn't come with this fitting for the fuel line, so I was able to unscrew it and use off the old one, which is great.
All the tanks in our house will become righty loosey.
Oh, and it even has something that tells us when it's empty and it's full.
Yeah.
Got it, got the end.
Okay, keep pulling. Keep pulling.
Okay, that's all the engine needs.
Okay.
We got a new fuel tank for the dinghy that fits in the front, so we don't have to have it under the seat. And we were just feeding it through, and now we're going to connect it up to the engine. You need help, Dad?
We are a family of 5 from Texas who sold everything to live full-time on our 1987 Marine Trader Tradewinds 47. We have 3 boys, Carter, Chase, and Caleb. We also have 2 cats aboard, Cheddar and Tiger. For 2 years, we have enjoyed cruising, exploring, beautiful sunsets, loads of family fun, and brotherly bonding. We also enjoy exploring the water, snorkeling, and diving. In the Florida Keys, the Bahamas, and who knows where to next. We want to say a special thank you to all of our patrons. The first place we needed to find after a day of cruising was the beach.
Cheers.
My first Khalid. We just had some drinks at the beach club here in the Bimini Islands in Great Harbor. It's a little chilly out. There's some storms coming, so we're here because it's a really good anchorage. It's nice and protected, and we plan on leaving in a few days after the weather leaves. But look at this. It's gorgeous, but it's also choppy, which means we're not going to be cruising today. There's a lot of people in this anchorage this time versus last time. Our kids have had a really great time just playing on the beach, enjoying just no longer moving because we've been on the go for 3 days. It's taken us 3 full days of travel to get this far from Florida to the Berry Islands. It's a long haul, and we aren't super fast.
You guys want to get in and look at it?
Nope.
Why not? You guys want to get in and look at it?
Not much information can be found on this ghostly DC-3 plane wreck. Drug smuggling was hopping off Cistern Key back in the day, so it's possible this was part of that operation. It now sits in about 5 feet of water, home to many fish, only a few hundred yards from the runway. As we dinghied closer to Cistern Key, we found an old boat ramp with a barge. and stairs leading up to a house. Cistern Key is just north of Great Harbor in the northern Berry Islands. A road appears to go around the entire island as well. On the southern side of Great Harbor, just west of Shark Creek, we were just exploring and we found a wreck in the shallows. We have no idea how it got here and we have no idea what it's from.
Can we make that a name?
Yeah, Summer Flowers.
Summer. Maybe.
Look at those huge propellers.
It looks like a P, not an F, maybe.
Big stingray. Wow.
Does anyone have a tank or something?
No.
Why is this tether down?
Oh, is there an anchor in the water there?
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Talking from Our Aft.
Today, we are going to talk about a few different questions we got from our YouTube comments. So thank you again for watching and commenting. Number one, we're going to answer
Let's
real
talk
quick.
about poop.
Yeah, someone asked about toilet paper. We buy our toilet paper from Costco.
Usually.
And do we ever have trouble with that going down toilets or pump outs or whatever? So there's a couple different
things
directions we need to address.
First off, it depends on what kind of toilet you have. And how you use your toilet paper. Mm-hmm. So we have a composting toilet, which never gets clogged, so you can put as much toilet paper as you want down there, or you can throw it in the trash. Two options for that. You can even, in a composting toilet, to be very open and honest, you can even put feminine products in it. Mm-hmm. It's like a bucket. You just put whatever you want in it.
And you can, so I always tell people, you can beehive your toilet paper all you want in a composting toilet. That doesn't matter. So use whatever fluffy toilet paper you want, pillows, whatever.
We have our front bathroom is an electric head with a macerator. So what that is, if you can think about a normal flush toilet with a garbage disposal.
It's like a blender.
Yeah, so it chops it all up. So because of that, it tends to not be an issue. On the flip side, you can't beehive with that one. You gotta
no beehiving in our electric toilet.
You gotta use it sparingly, and then you may have to flush a couple of times just to make sure you're not overloading it. But we've yet to have that one plugged when we've used it.
So,
but you cannot put feminine products down that toilet and
or beehive
flushable wipes, anything like that. Just basic toilet paper.
However, so with that said,
can I do one more?
Yeah,
thing?
go ahead.
The other thing, we used to have a hand pump. That's another common toilet down here. Is the hand pump or the vacuum flush. And to my knowledge, the vacuum flush doesn't usually have a macerator. That's like what you'd have on a cruise ship or on a airplane, where you push a button and it's got pressure and it sucks it down. So those can clog because they don't have a macerator, and they go through little one-way valves and stuff. And then the pump one is the same way. So if you have one of those, it may be an issue, and that's where the marine one-ply toilet paper might be what you have to use. We've really appreciated having the electric head with the macerator. It came with the boat, and we've had zero issues with it. It's a Raritan. I believe it's like the Marine Elegance or something like that. So would definitely recommend that particular product.
And also, our composting toilet is a Nature's Head, which, as far as composting toilets go, we would recommend that one.
It's been fine, yeah. Crazily enough, the dang composting head it's just a bucket, fancy bucket, and the high-tech macerator flushing toilet, they both cost about $900.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you're gonna get. You're gonna spend about $1,000 on a toilet.
But I still like my composting toilet because it won't break.
It's just about impossible to break.
It won't break. So with everything that breaks on a boat, that's kind of a nice peace of mind that I'll always have somewhere to use the restroom. Okay, so then we'll have to also talk about, so we allow people to put toilet paper down the electric toilet because
It chops it up.
It chops it up. We have a macerator, and we don't use like pillowy toilet paper. And we tell people flat out, we have conversations with people. We're like, listen, you're free to use either restroom you want, but you cannot beehive.
Here's the rules. You have to have the poop talk. And people who don't want to have the poop talk can't go to the bathroom on my boat. But you can use what we call the aft head, which is the ocean behind us.
Which Chris sometimes uses. But people, when you do this motion, like you can't beehive, like they instantly, you know what I'm talking about.
And you beehivers out there, you know who you are. You do.
Another thing, though, is what's very common in most boats, and we provide this opportunity as well, is you just put a little trash can in the bathroom and you throw it away.
It's very common. There's a lot of boaters we know that are like, no toilet paper down the toilet at all.
So then,
no ifs, ands, or buts. Don't do it. And we have one guy, friend, he's like, look, if you clog it, you have to fix it. And when he says that, people are like, got it, I'll throw my toilet paper away.
But then at that point, if you're throwing it away, you use whatever toilet paper you want.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You can use those pillows and beehive all you want. With that also being said, one-ply toilet paper I like, and here's why I like it. Our family of 5 can use one roll in a week because it lasts longer.
It does. There's a lot of there, and because we have bought the West Marine RV Marine toilet paper before, and it works fine.
But don't spend your money on that. It's the same as the Scott's one-ply.
Yeah, it is pretty much. But
I think they're ripping you off because it's for boats. That's what I think.
One-ply edges.
Not bad.
But I still think if you were to buy marine toilet paper or like a Scott's one-ply, just go with the Scott's one-ply. Why? So anyway.
So that's our poop talk for the day.
So.
It's amazing how much you have to talk about that when you have people on the boat, though, because it will ruin your day or your trip if you have to deal with that, especially out in the middle of nowhere like we are with not a lot of help.
And I won't go into details. We have never clogged our toilet, but our toilet has undergone a clogging while we were away, and I don't know the exact circumstances of it, but what they ended up needing to do was let it kind of sit and soak for a day and add a little...
We'll put muriatic acid to help eat away whatever was in the...
Because muriatic acid eats away...
organic material.
Which would be...
Poop.
So, and then after like 2-3 days of letting it soak, sit, and soften.
I think it just got clogged up in the macerator, which is like a blender.
Yeah.
And I think it was probably a feminine product, which those are the macerator just can't handle that. They're too stringy and they get all wrapped up and stuff.
So that's our guess. So with that being said, that's our 15.
So that's our 2 cents on number 2. Somebody asked about provisioning and how many trips we had to take, and is there not a good dinghy dock in the Keys and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
right?
on our video of provisioning, there was a question of how many trips did we take and why didn't we just go to a dinghy dock.
So there's not really such a thing as a dinghy dock in the Middle Keys. There is but
in
Marathon and in Key West there is.
It's not like a courtesy dock anywhere.
So
like a city courtesy dock.
So we have deals worked out with different marinas where we can maybe use them for a short time, and sometimes they're not super duper close because of where you can anchor and where the marina is. But that particular trip took us 4 or 5 times, and we just did it as we were going back and forth to shore. We got our perishables first time, and then box stuff we did as we went back and forth. And we weren't wasting fuel just to run back and forth.
We probably could have done it in less trips, but also we were like, we'll just grab what we can. Because we did a large provision about 2-3 weeks before we left for the Bahamas. So it wasn't like a dire need to get it all that day.
That being said, we have gone to a marina before for like a night just to go provisioning and load up. So that's another option you have. As far as cost, people asked about what would that cost in the Bahamas. I would say just take that and easily double it. Whatever you spent, it would be easily double. Depending on where you have to buy food in the Bahamas, it could be as much as triple. And, and I would say it's probably double the Florida Keys prices. If you're provisioning in somewhere less expensive, like we always compare stuff to Texas. Well, Florida was more expensive than Texas, and the Florida Keys was like double or a little more than what Texas was. Mm-hmm. So if you're on the East Coast, I can imagine like some of the Carolinas or Georgia or something like that, where you probably have some pretty decent prices like you have in Texas. You could triple or quadruple what you're spending up there to what it's in the Bahamas, especially if you're buying in some of the smaller out islands like Spanish Wells, not Spanish Wells. They had a decent.
Everything.
I was thinking, where was in Exumas? Black Point was pretty expensive, so Staniel Key was pretty expensive.
Staniel Key was very expensive.
And that's just because they got smaller stores and they don't do the big volume. Mm-hmm. Georgetown, there were some places that were expensive, and there were some places that were less expensive.
And then, like in Great Harbor and the Berries,
it just wasn't much available, right?
Yeah, I mean.
So it's more expensive there as well.
Golly, yeah, there was just nothing there.
The best spot to provision is going to be you're in the States. Mm-hmm. Second best is going to be in Nassau itself. Yeah. That's going to be your next bet. And then you're going to have to find there's a larger supermarket in Spanish Wells, and there's a larger supermarket in Georgetown. And I'm sure Abacos and Freeport probably have.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure I'm sure on each island chain there's at least one good size. But
the problem is that's one spot, and you may spend weeks or months exploring that particular island chain. Mm-hmm. And so it's always the perishables, like the meats tend to be, they're not actually crazy, but your vegetables is what you're going to be spending. Yeah. Because those only keep for 4, 5, 6 days on the boat. Honestly, they have all your other stuff like your beans and flour, and it's not that bad of a price, right?
It's expensive.
There was a bag of cheese we looked at yesterday, like a big, 5-pound bag of shredded cheese, and it was what, $35?
$36.
$36.50.
So some stuff's not bad, some stuff is really bad. Chips is still bad like it always is.
Yep.
Were there any questions you missed about provisioning?
No.
So, hope that answers your questions, right?
Yep. Thanks so much for watching.
Please, if you want to know something that we can talk about from our aft,
leave us a comment below, message us, DM us, Instagram, Facebook, and where else are we? And here on YouTube. So, once again, thanks for watching.
Enjoy the journey.